Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to a 24/7 news update of what's going on with the club right now. Just a warning in advance, if you see me looking over to this direction, it is just because that is where I do have the news. So if you just see an occasional glance, that is what I'm doing. To start off from Talksport, apparently Everton are interested in signing Weghorst. Manchester United do not plan on re-signing the striker this season. Um, Weghorst is one where it all depend on the price and if we're going to bring another striker in. Because if we plan on bringing him in as our only striking option, then I don't know what to think. Calvert-Lewin's not shown that reliability to play a consistent season, to play enough football really, and Weghorst has shown that he can't really score the goals needed to keep a team in the Premier League. Something we need to be pushing on now to towards the mid-table range, towards where we're not really worrying about relegation. I just don't think Weghorst is the caliber of striker needed to stop that from happening. To be completely honest with you, and I think a lot of the fan base agree with that. 63.5% of fans said no on the Twitter poll. I don't know. It's an interesting one. If the fee's cheap enough, and if we bring in another striker along with them, so we have a good rotation of strikers, maybe get rid of Neil Maupay, which then it also slots room for, I'd imagine, a two up front approach. What Dyche is probably going to want to take. To be fair, Calvert-Lewin and Weghorst would probably work quite well together. Weghorst is quite good with the ball at his feet. He's really good at pressing. It's one of those where if he's got the right support around him, I won't be massively against it. But I think we need to be looking for an out-and-out goal scorer before we sign someone like Weghorst. And speaking of an out-and-out goal scorer, we have been linked with Tammy Abraham. Roma are said to be listening to offers, and apparently we are willing to pay £27 million. But Roma believe they can get more. This comes from Gazzetta in Italy. Another one, 85% of Everton fans have said yes to this, and I'd be a part of that. If we can get him for £27 million, because I think that is a bargain. Tammy Abraham he's had a bit of a dip this season with only 8 goals and 3 assists in the Serie A, but that is with players like Dybala and Andrea Bellotti coming into the club. Naturally, he was going to score less than the 21 goal contributions he got last season with 17 goals, 4 assists. He did also get 15 goals in the Premier League under Frank Lampard, I believe, at Chelsea. So he has shown that he can score goals in the Premier League. So it's one where I wouldn't be against it at all. I'd love to bring Tammy Abraham to Everton, but I could also see clubs in much higher positions than us being interested. I've heard rumours that Aston Villa are interested, and I just can't see why a player would join us over Aston Villa right now, to be completely honest with you. But it's one of those, he's a big striker, goal scoring threat, another one who can play with the ball at his feet, so he could play in a front two with Calvert-Lewin if necessary. So I think it's one of those where it'd be a smart bit of business, and but I also just don't know where we're going to get this £27 million from when there's rumours that we don't even have the money in to replace Conor Cody. So I don't know if there's been budgets set on certain areas, and that means with those budgets we don't have enough left to sign a defender. But it's an interesting one, but I don't really know how to feel. But if possible, for about £30 million, I think we 100% need a pounce on something like that. But we'll have to see where it goes from there. Everton are believed also to be interested in bringing in Amad Diallo on a temporary basis. This comes from the Northern Echo. Amad Diallo on loan would be a fantastic bit of business for Everton. He had that trickery, that pace that we really need on the wing. I don't think we have enough pace. I think we have Damari Gray is probably our only option for real pace, and I think Amad even offers a different level of pace compared to someone like Damari Gray. It would be his first Premier League loan move, which would be the worry, but fantastic season. I believe it was 13 goals and 3 assists for Sunderland last season, helping Sunderland, make it to the playoffs in their first season back in the Championship after promotion from League One. So I think it's one of those where I don't see why not on a loan deal. I think we should be making more of an advantage of the loan market in the position where Inter help us move up the table, like teams like Crystal Palace did with Conor Gallagher. He has shown willingness to work hard at his time in Sunderland. So I think it's one of those where I don't see a world where this wouldn't be a good bit of business for us. But West Ham and Burnley are also interested, and maybe the more attacking football of a team like Burnley may interest him compared to the, structured football that Everton are probably going to be playing under Sean Dyche. There's rumours that from Steve Kerr that Tottenham have made an approach for Jordan Pickford. Like with this one, it's a bit difficult. I think a large fee would be required to make this happen. I think it'd have to be a large fee, to be completely honest with you. I think anything else on we're being made out to be mugs, to completely honest with you. Pickford again, but I think he won Player of the Season this season. Without him, we wouldn't have been in the Premier League at all. We'd have got relegated 2 seasons ago. Never mind the last season. So I think it's one where I don't really know what the financial situation would be. I saw a poll on Liverpool Echo, which was we'd accept 30 million plus, 40 million plus, or a player part exchange deal or not sell, and saying not to sell them at all was top by a mile. Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where there's rumours going around that Pickford's camp have said he'd happily stay at Everton and he has no problem to stay. So again, I wouldn't see why we'd do anything other. To be completely honest with you, I don't see why we'd even waste our time with this when we could just keep Pickford, have one of the top goalkeepers in the Premier League, and then help build on that by giving him a solid defence to work with instead of, the defence we've had over the past 2 seasons. So I think it's one of those where I think selling Pickford would be idiotic unless Spurs offer something that we just can't turn down. If Spurs offer an amount of money that we just can't turn down, then I can understand it. But if Pickford's happy to stay and Spurs aren't willing to offer the money that we'd like, then I think this is a deal that I can't really see happening. This is one way you're going to see a lot of looking to the right because I'm not very familiar with this player. I've had to do some research. Apparently, Everton have made a firm offer for FC Midtjylland midfielder Emiliano Martinez. When I first read this rumour, I thought it was the Aston Villa goalkeeper, so I'm just as confused now. He's a Uruguayan midfielder that has represented the Danish side since 2022, and the 23-year-old has caught the eye courtesy of his performance. Bordeaux are apparently also interested, but I think we should have a lot more money than a team like Bordeaux, to be completely honest with you. He's under contract till 2027, and it is almost a fact that Martinez will move this summer. Looking at his statistics on sites like FBref, he looks very similar to an Idrissa Gueye mold where he'll put up monstrous defensive numbers. He'll get tackles, interceptions, clearances. He'll do all that, but he offers practically nothing really going forward besides an ability to take a man on. It's one of those where at 23 years old, he's from the Danish league, so I can't imagine he'll cost more than like 10 million. I don't see why not, to be honest with you. I think it'd be a smart addition. It's nice to see that we're not just going for the overpriced option, that we're now going to look at these players that are underrated and putting up these numbers that, if you look at the top 5 in Europe, it's stuff like his tackles and interceptions are the top 1% of midfielders. So, maybe it won't be at that level, but I can still imagine that will translate to success, especially with something that's more based off physicality, like the defensive midfielder role that he plays. But the Premier League is also much more physical, so it's one of those things where I'd see him coming in as maybe an understudy to Idrissa Gueye, and I wouldn't be against that at all. It'd give players like James Garner more room to flow and to go forwards. Same with Amadou Onana if he stays. So it's one of those where I wouldn't really be against that happening at all. And finally, Asmir Begovic has confirmed that he will be leaving the club when his contract expires. Begovic has played 10 games for Everton and kept 4 clean sheets. And just everyone at the Toffee Blues would like to say thank you, Begovic, for your time at the club and for, the memories you made at this club. Unfortunately, it's been during a downtime for the club, but I think Begovic, when he's played, he's done a good job and been quite a good backup goalkeeper. But that is all for today. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed and follow me on Twitter at Callum Brannan3. Thank you all for watching once again, and I'll see you for the next video or stream. Goodbye, everyone.